February, my favorite, ice storms and ice fog, but here we are, February 3rd. It's impossible to talk about markets without mentioning what's his name. And if you mention what's his name, you either alarm or deeply annoy half of the country, depending on what you say, one half or the other half. But it's impossible to talk about markets without what's his name. And what's happening in markets is really strange. After the election, there was a huge lurch up in the stock market and up in interest rates in expectation that gridlock would disappear, the government would actually get things done, and what's his name's agenda was stimulus and tax cuts and so on. What's his name has some unique characteristics, and trying to be as dispassionate and calm and distant about this as I can be. The markets are reading economic data every day, which is inherently retrospective. It's Jurassic Park an hour after it's released. Financial markets look to the future by principally what government officials say. There's private officials, but the big deal is the Fed and the federal government. The Fed's easy to read. A lot of people don't understand, but the Fed chairman at any given moment is trying to tell us exactly what she thinks she's going to do within her limitation of knowing anything about the future. They're trying to tell us. Fed's coming. The federal government is a big place. You've got regulatory agencies and so on, but you have the White House and Congress and the longer-term plans that they're trying to lay that are going to have effect on the economy. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Most of the time we can get some idea from what they're intending to do. We can handicap what their chances are of getting it done, and then we can handicap what the effect in the future might be. And what's his name conducts his affairs in a way that is driving financial markets nuts, because there's nothing to read. There's this new confetti cannon every day, whether on TV or tweeting or whatever, that is unreliable information. Not just alternative facts, but today we got news of an outsized number of jobs. More jobs created in January than we thought. But December and November were revised down. There isn't any wage growth, so there's nothing in the report that would either accelerate or slow down what the Fed intends to do. But what's his name said, great report, there'll be lots more like that and lots bigger ones. Everybody in the financial markets knows no. If that's what begins to take place, the Fed's going to stop it. Now, that may result in a great collision with what's his name and what's her name, but the statement itself is such a great departure from what we know to be the case that we not only can't learn from it, but just as is happening to me now trying to describe it, you get a piece of information like that and it stops other thinking. That you can't finish whatever paragraph you were in. You not only can't draw an inference from it, it just addles whatever you were thinking. And the flow from what's his name is all day long. If you're a news hound, which everybody in the markets is, we have to be, into the late evening, here are talking heads, whether they're on MSNBC or they're on Fox or wherever the hell they are, trying to describe what's his name has said today. The first thought now is, what is that? So markets have frozen. I mean, just frozen. It's markets come out of holiday season just the way normal people do. We become unfrozen and we start to move. We should be looking forward to the activity that a new administration will begin, and nobody knows what to react to. So interest rates are amazingly steady. We did this rapid rise into December, and we've been the same ever since. The stock market has stopped moving. These things are vibrating in these narrow channels waiting for something to happen. We just got the biggest burst of economic data we're going to get in February. We got it this week. and it says the economy is doing fine enough for the Fed to continue on plan, and that's all we know. The Fed's going to continue to come. What, if anything, the federal government is going to do, and what effects might follow whatever it is that it gets done, beats me. Have a nice weekend.